Hello, everyone. I'm Ricardo Tenorio. I am the writer, director, and editor of Battle Fantasy X Chow.
What's the film about?
It's a film about this village kid. He's just kind of going about his day, and then he discovers that his village has been destroyed by a mysterious warrior. Uh, and he is suddenly bestowed upon this big quest, pretty much. He gets this golden machete, and he has to go and pretty much exact vengeance.
And it's a fully animated film.
Mm-hmm. All animation. It's not really like traditional. A big inspiration was like old NES games. A huge one being Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, something like old Atari games too. It felt like.
Yeah, I grew up with some of those, and I've always liked it. And I'm not like the greatest at frame by frame animation. I'm still like kind of working that out. And like time constraints. So I really wanted to do something that like looked good and intentional without taking forever, like my Winds of Winter or something like that. Yeah, I didn't want this film to be my version of Winds of Winter. So I went with this more kind of limited style, but more stylized to where like the audience could still take it in as like, it's like, oh, that looks pretty neat.
Yeah, I got it right away. I looked at it and it's like, oh, he's doing like old school video game animation, like what you would call what 12-bit or 6-bit, 8-bit, something like that. And kind of, how did the story come about?
So this film has actually been in production for a while, ever since I think 2016. And around that time is when I first saw Kill Bill. And my mind was like filled with like so much inspiration. I immediately got to work on it. But my confidence in the film kind of fizzled out a little bit. It was going to be kind of a series at first. But over time, I kind of faded away from the project and worked on other things. But recently I kind of came back to it and I kind of fleshed out the story. I really like old kind of samurai questy stuff. I'm a big fantasy guy as well, and I like video games. I like all that stuff, and that's kind of my inspiration for the project. Like all these kind of mediums kind of meeting together.
You've actually had a film and almost every festival since 2017. I went through the festivals just to get an idea of how many films you've had in our festival. So you've had 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th one now. You weren't in the best of year, but you were in all the year seasons surrounding that. When you graduated
2017.
2017, yeah. You were part of AI. A lot of the people from AI students submitted films to us that year, I remember. Yeah. You've made, I've also looked at your profile. You've made a lot of films since then. I counted like 12.
Yeah.
You're very prolific. Do you feel yourself growing?
Yeah. It's funny. I actually found the certificate for Inner. I think this was my first year with you guys. And I do look back.
I'm sorry, excuse me. Did you win audience favorite that year? What was that?
This was Inner for artistic achievement.
Artistic achievement. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking back at those old films, I really like Inner and all that, but it's kind of eventually there's like a cutoff point where you respect the old stuff, but you kind of I think my skills have like greatly advanced from like the first few years of me like submitting to festivals. That like it's kind of hard to go back, but I do respect it. And like my new projects, I really do have like a base minimum for like quality. I think I put a lot of like work over time. Like some of these projects take a while, obviously. But I don't like try to rush it. I always have like some sort of like quality standard that I try to have in all my films. I want everything to look slick. So that's something that I'm pretty proud of with these newer ones, especially Ponturn King and Chow Chow, this new film. I really, really like these two. And I actually am kind of leaning towards Chow Chow being like my best work yet, probably.
Yeah. Well, the thing with your work is we never know what to expect from you. And anytime you send us a film, it's like completely different than the last film. Like you sent in Inner, Natural Horror, Broken Box. I mean, Broken Box is somewhat influential, like old school 30s animation mixed with like new type of animation, and it's like a combination there. But then there's like it's all photographs and you're animating photographs and stuff like that. But you know, like Ponturn King is completely different than that too. So we never know what to expect from you year to year.
I watch a lot of movies. I like many genres. I really want to branch out and kind of do more dialogue focused stuff soon, but I really like this genre thing that I got going around right now. Bond King was like the crime one. I got this like fantasy one right now. I'm always trying to do something different, trying to learn and kind of, you know, find like a film that kind of interests me to work on. I spent a lot of time thinking about like the storylines and because I don't really want to make just like once in a while I'll make like a fun kind of just whatever movie or like a vlog, but for these kind of bigger kind of things, like I only make like one or two a year, especially since kind of like the live action kind of part of my filmography has kind of been slowing down just because like people have been, you know, pretty busy in COVID. Um, but yeah, I don't know.
You've made a feature film too, right?
Yeah, Ashface.
Yeah.
Ashface.
Are you planning on doing any like larger productions like that? Would you like to do another feature?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I was actually going to shoot one right after Ashface called Mayo, but that ended up not working out. The last two or three live action films, short and feature, have kind of fallen through, and that's why I've kind of been jumping on this animation train for a while. But I'm not stopping, and there are some certain projects that like I really, really want them to be like a feature. But it just it takes time and budget. I kind of have like my film crew and like we're all friends and we all work together. Um, but it doesn't. Uh, you know, my movies are pretty much they have like no budget. They have no budget. I have like that quality standard, so they always look nice. But
Mm-hmm.
that's only because like I take the time out of my day after work and I just get to right to work on them. But you know, it takes time. You can't really do like bigger projects with that. And eventually, if I want to save up or something, if I have like a really, really good idea, yeah, I'll get back to a feature film one of these days. We did want to do an Ashface too, but that also fell through. Um, but this Mayo one, I'm kind of, it's called Mayo. It's like a found footage horror movie.
Ah,
I'm thinking about it. It's been a while since I've developed more about it, but it's always been in the back of my mind. Certain projects.
how do you think people will react to your film?
I think the style of the animation some people could take is like, oh, like kind of cheaper or whatnot. Originally it was supposed to be just the animation and just subtitles, but I think the sound design and especially the work that the voice actors put in, like these are some of like, there's a reason why I work with some of these people back to back because they just bring the animation to life. So I think for this movie, it's
The
the animation.
subtitles make the film too. You need the subtitles.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, I just kept them. I was actually thinking about cutting it out, but in the end, I kind of kept them in just to kind of help.
It does. It kind of sets you in this world. Older people like me and younger people like we know what that is when we watch it, and you automatically respond like in a nostalgia way a little bit, like an older person like me, to something like that. And it's like, okay, I know what I'm about ready to get into here.
Yeah, maybe it's gonna be one for like older crowds, which is that's totally fine with me. But yeah, I'll be interested to see how like people react to it. I think maybe the end might move people. I guess we were definitely, when we were filming the end without spoiling anything. Even in the recording booth, we kind of felt bad. So
Where
I
do
hope.
you where do you record your audio?
Uh, if it's just by myself, I do it like in my room. But
Oh,
if you want like really clean audio, and I have like a team of people together, then we go to the union, and they have like a soundproof booth that we go in. And those are honestly really fun. This is the second time we've done it. For the first time was for my film Falling Heart in the Sky. Um, and it's worth it. Like soundproof booths, it just makes it so much cleaner, and it's that quality standard that I'm looking for, where I just want to keep moving up, and I want like their performances to sound really nice, you know.
great. Well, thank you for joining us today, Ricardo.
Yeah, sure thing, sure thing. Thank you for accepting the film. Can't wait.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.